Everybody is still filing in, it would seem. We'll give you just a moment. New Year's resolutions. We're not a very punctual congregation to begin with, frankly. Good. It is not intended to be ambiantly dark in here, Leo. Are we turning the light on there? Thank you. All right. Yesterday is still here, below the surface. Here and there it pierces the white snow, showing us reminders of what was and still is, whether beautiful or not. But today, we are what we were yesterday, and something more. A beauty and a wonder beckon us with all the promise of a new fallen snow. From deep within us comes a response. A new start toward the fulfillment that was always waiting, urging and prompting in the heart. It's beckoning to us from beyond, and it says, glory. Glory to the promise of the day. Its grayness is not foreboding, but gentle and peace-giving. So glory to the human heart and the new hope, the possibilities, the feeling that the world can be remade, rebuilt with a vision of beauty and with the creativeness of a universal love. Well, welcome everyone to this New Year's Eve day morning. I don't know your intention in being here. It's the 31st, which means it's not the new year yet, so I know you're not making good on a promise or a resolution for the new year. You all are tried and true here on the last day of the year, so extra points will be awarded on your church dossier, which, don't worry, we don't keep one of those. Let me see if this is on. I don't think it is. Yep, no it is. All right. Let's see. This morning we are doing a question box service, which means during the sermon portion time, I'll just be answering some of the questions that you write. The ushers were, as you were coming in, handed out some paper and pencil. If you didn't get one and would like to put a question into the box, just raise your hand, and one of our ushers will come find you with a piece of paper. And it is a new year. Like I said, so tonight's the 31st. And so if you are here because it's a great way to end last year, then fantastic. If you're here getting a jump on the new year, perhaps we all know, it's like starting a new tradition or habit. It's always tomorrow. It's always tomorrow. So maybe this is that for you. You're like, I'm not going to start church in the new year. I'm going to do it in the old year. Good on you. If you're here because you're planning a wild night tonight and are hoping to get some forgiveness from the church, like absolving you of all your actions tonight, I'm sorry, we don't do that here. But what we do offer is love. So in the face of that, whether you're working at the food shelter tonight, or you're going to go whoop it up with your friends, you can know that you are loved. And isn't that nice? That universal love that Robert Weston spoke about in our opening reading is what this congregation tries to bring into our life, into our bodies, and into this community, and indeed into our world. So we are glad you are here. And because it bears repeating, this is a very special day. Not only because it's December 31st of 2023. No. That would mean it's a special day in the course of a year. This, good people, is a special day in the course of 100 years, a century. This, as Debbie told me this morning, is the date 123, 123, which shall never happen again until 2024. Is that 2123? Yes. So, depending on how science goes and how it does with life extension, maybe some of us will see that date to come, but my guess is this is the day we are given. That is 123, 123. Let's do our best to enjoy it together. Let's do that by beginning with singing, as we often do. David?
Yeah, please rise. Do you hear, do you friend, in the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land? Do you hear, in the heights on the plain, in the vale on the main, in the sun, in the rain? Do you hear, Hear the rush through the throng, through the crush. Do you hear in the hush of your soul, of your soul? Hear the cry, fear won't still. Hear the heart's call to will. Hear a sigh, startling trill in your soul, in your soul. From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend? Do you hear, all the dreams, all the dares, all the sighs? They are yours, mine and theirs. Do you hear,
Good morning. My name's Katie Bozen. It's my husband, Pete Bozen. We're going to light the chalice, or you're going to light the chalice. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past and our fears about the future. May this light be a guide for us today. May it illuminate our minds, gladden our hearts, and lead us into lives of purpose, justice, and love.
Children or young ones, or actually anybody who would like to come down for our Time for All Ages today. I know it's a week off of school. We're not having RE, our religious exploration classes today, so I don't know. I know some of those kids are staying home today, sleeping in and doing Christmas vacation stuff, but I do know there are some of you here. All right, here. So it's New Year's. Is this going to work yet? Is it going to work? Oh, wait, no, that comes apart. I think we're going to have to fold this over. There we go. Thanks, Mark. Yeah. All right. We'll just keep it right there. That's good. All right. What is this?
It's a whiteboard.
Right. It's a whiteboard. What's on it? Nothing. Nothing's on it. All right. And what day is today? Last day of the year. All right. So there is some thinking that when you get to the end of the year, so let's do this. It's the end of the year. Can I get you all to grab a marker and write on our board squiggles, words? They can just be squiggles, I think, or something from the last year. They will represent what has happened in the last year. I will get. All right. Anybody else want to try? You need those. You want to get a squiggle in there? You don't have to. No. Okay. I'll do some. Okay, so just like this. That is an event from the last year. So is this. That one was a square. Can you do one, Camise? Oh, that was a good part of the year right there, that Nautilus-looking thing. Oh, yeah, sure. Just jump in. We need a bunch, I think. Not a whole bunch, but, we did that. Remember that? That was a great day where we did that. That was fantastic. And then there's that line day. All right. We got one more. Have you done one yet, Cora? Okay, throw one on there. All right, hold on. I forgot that there's that bad day too. That made me mad. That was not good. Oh yeah, made it even worse. There was that day over here that was just not favorable at all. I did not like it one bit. No, I did not, sir, at all. Oh, that was a bad day. Yeah, I forgot about the teeth on that day. Oh, that was a bad one. Y'all remember that one? Whew, that was a bad one. All right. So this, let's say, is what our year looks like with accumulated memories and thoughts and actions from a whole year of living life. And yet, on New Year's Eve, we have this chance, this wonderful chance to come in, despite all that's happened, and just completely make it go away. All right, it's all gone. Nothing. Remember that bad day? Shoop, boop, boop, gone. This stuff, gone. All right, it's erasing so well. Kind of not, right? Kind of not that well. It doesn't actually go away. That means I might not be getting that fresh, new, clean whiteboard in the morning that I had hoped for. Shoot, it sticks. But I was kind of hoping that everything started over tomorrow because it's New Year's Day, right? A whole new fresh day, and you get resolutions, and you get to do everything over, and life's perfect at midnight tonight. You've done nothing wrong, nothing bad. Everything is in place until, like 12:15, and then things start going downhill sometimes. But that's not how it works, right? We don't get absolutely fresh starts. Our last year stays with us. In fact, all of our years stay with us because that's how life works. It stays with us, and we look back on those memories, some of them good, some of them difficult, and they make us who we are. And that's a good thing. So we did clean up a little bit. And that's nice, because New Year's does happen, and it does give us a chance to reflect on our lives and what has happened and our relationship to them and what is new. But it also gives us a chance to think about possibility of what could be. So what I'd like us to do, what I'd like all of us to do over the course of the service is, you all can write a couple more squiggles if you'd like while I'm explaining this, if you'd like. You don't have to. But this is going to represent our last year here in this fellowship. It's going to represent your last year. Maybe something that you're carrying with you over that threshold of midnight tonight. And we're going to hold this. I'm going to put it over here. And any time during the service you'd like to come up when we're lighting candles during Joys and Sorrows, if you're getting bored during the prayer or the silent meditation or the homily part, anytime at all, feel free to just sneak around the back, and you can come and write a word or a shape or a picture or a symbol on here of what it is that we are holding. We're going to carry with us, and we're going to try and be in relationship with as we cross into this new year. It looks like we're already carrying some great stuff into our new year. So I invite you all to play along. Our kids are with us all service, so things are a little more casual today. Our kids under 6 are going to nursery, though. If you have a kid under 6, Cheryl is back in nursery and would love to have some company of our youngest of young. So I'm going to roll this back over here, and Lainey's going to help with the rug, and I'm going to invite us to sing. First we'll say our Children's Covenant. Magic. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. So we usually make a big arch, but our kids are just going back to their seats today. So you can still make an arch, but kids, make sure to turn when you're in your parents' row. So I invite you to stand, make our arch, and kids, I'll trust that you can get back to your parents. If parents, you need to find them, that's good too.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning and happy almost New Year. I'm Chayla Sloper, the Congregational Life Facilitator, and I have today's announcements, and I also do want to make a special recognition for those who are with us on Zoom. And it also occurred to me that sometimes the announcements, we sort of wonder, well, if they're all in the skyline, why say them? But the folks on Zoom don't have a skyline, so that's my justification today. And I just want you all to just feel so grateful for this. Well, actually, I can't say, would you please be grateful? I'm feeling grateful for this congregation and for all the ways that many of you have combined energies and invested time into making our building just bright with the spirit of the winter holidays. And it all has to come to an end. The Buddhists teach us about transience, and this is not an exception. So Tuesday at 11 a.m., if you are free, you have a wonderful opportunity to come and help take the lights off of the trees. Becky Dabrowski is going to lead that crew, and then the trees will be taken out for retrieval by the Boy Scouts, and so that's this Tuesday at 11. And, oh, by the way, on Zoom, if this is your first or second time and you'd like to let us know that you're here and that you'd like to, if you're interested in signing up for our weekly communication, we call it the ACE, All Congregation Email, you can do that online in the chat. And for you that are here also visiting, if you want to see more about us, please do sign up for the ACE before you leave. Also, if you've been coming and would like a name tag, you can sign up for that at the Connections Corner. Next Sunday will be a newcomer welcome. Also so we're at the stage where we're going to have winter membership classes. So let me just take a couple minutes and explain. So we have a new curriculum, if you will, called Membership Matters. Because it does. And becoming a member of the congregation is a special kind of relationship that you enter into. And we have some classes to learn about our history and about this congregation. And then a book signing ceremony. On that day, you'll also be received into the congregation as a member, welcomed as a member. And I understand that the link in the ACE has not been working. We'll have that corrected this week, but everybody who signed up, I will send out that link today, and then if you have questions, just be sure to be in touch with me. And we just want to make sure that all of you who are interested in joining the congregation as a member are aware that this is your opportunity for the winter. Okay, so our new social group in Redmond, if you are in the UUFCO diaspora, you can meet, there's a coffee on Tuesday mornings, and there's a new social group that meets Wednesday afternoons. Thursday at 6:30, we have Dungeons and Dragons. I know. And also this Friday night is the rescheduled reception for our art resources team. The installation that's currently in Linus Pauling is called Portals, Imposing, Humble, or Imaginative. And you're invited to come to the reception at 6 p.m. and the artists will be talking about their work at 6:30. Also the men's steering team, the men's fellowship steering team meets next Sunday. And everybody who is wanting to participate or know what's going on with the men's fellowship, you can go to that meeting. That'll be after the service. And also, very excitingly, our Gen XYZ has another event scheduled for the second Thursday. That'll be January 11th, and more information will be in the ACE. But do mark your calendars, that'll be at 7 p.m. So there's just no respite. We just had our respite, and now we're full speed into 2024. So blessings on your day as you wind down this year, and may the beginning of your new year be filled with hope and a beautiful vision for the coming year, and may you contribute to that. Blessings.
One of the things that makes this congregation possible is the generous offering of resources of the members and friends. It's the last day of the year. If you're thinking to yourself, I haven't given anything in the entire year, this is your chance to throw a buck into the offering plate. Debbie is going to play a beautiful song, The Broken Road That Led Me Here, while she is doing that. Oh, also, and our ushers are also going to follow with a basket. If you have your questions that you would like to add to the question box, please put those in the basket. And you can also add something to our board during our offering.
So, in keeping with Reverend Scott's discussion or thoughts about this past year and all the past years before that and all the past years before that, this is Bless the Broken Road, which you might have heard Rascal Flatts do. So yes, bless the road that brought me here this morning. I set out on a narrow way many years ago, hoping I would find true love along the broken road. But I got lost a time or two, wiped my brow and kept pushing through. I couldn't see how everything pointed me straight to you. But every long lost dream led me to where you are. Others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pointing me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know is true, that God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. Yes, it did. I think about the years I've spent just passing through. I'd like to have the time I lost and give it back to you. But you just smile and take my hand. You've been there, you understand. It's all part of a grander plan that is coming true. Every long lost dream led me to where you are. Others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pointing me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know is true, that God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. That God bless the broken road that led me straight to you.
And Debbie, we are so grateful for the road that led you to us. So that was confusing. We did not just try and take 2 offerings, just to be clear. There was a second basket going around. Did the second basket get lost on this side somewhere? Is there anybody who has, it's in the second row here. Yeah, keep going. If there are questions on this side that did not get collected, just let Max know. You can hold them up or you can pass them down. Some of us put it in the basket. Yeah, we got those. Notice so. If we do this again, just put them in the basket. Resolution. Are there anybody in the back that didn't, that has one that want to throw it in? No? All right. So this congregation has a ritual and tradition of sharing our joys and sorrows with each other because we are a community. Our joys and our sorrows and our gratitudes matter to each other. We help each other celebrate. We help each other mourn. And we help each other when our hearts are full and thankful. Gwen from Bethlehem Inn, while I'm doing this, if you'd like to light a candle on the side of the sanctuary for a joy or sorrow in your own heart, please feel free to do so. If you'd like to write a memory on our board of 2023, feel free to do that as well. So Gwen from Bethlehem Inn shares a gratitude for the Christmas Eve offering for the greater community good. Each Christmas Eve, this congregation shares its offering or gives its offering to Bethlehem Inn to support their work and our long relationship with them. So Steph and Nathan Jenkinson share that they are so happy to have Steph's mom, Petra, and Tim, mom's boyfriend, visiting from Connecticut. Good to have you here from so far away. And Gwen and Carlos Weisling, it's also the same Gwen from Bethlehem Inn, learned on Christmas Eve that we are going to be grandparents for the first time. Congratulations, Gwen and Carlos. We know that was only 3 red joys and sorrows or gratitudes. We know that each of us in our own lives and our own hearts have stuff going on, gratitudes and joys and sorrows, and we know that, we can be confident of that because that's the way life works. And because we have joys and sorrows and gratitudes in our hearts, it is good to be together as a community, to share those, to witness those, and to be together as that life is lived out.
You may remain seated as we sing this beautiful song, How Could Anyone Ever Tell You? How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Let us take a deep breath. Let me take a deep breath, because I just ran to the back of the sanctuary into the office. really quick and came back to see if Max had any more questions. Max, where'd you go? Do you have any more questions? I saw you at the basket, I thought. No? Did they make their way up here to the side chair? Okay, take a deep breath with me as I calm down. And we enter our bodies and our hearts and our minds into a spirit of prayer and meditation, of calmness and grounding, of centering, of presence, of being together, of being here, of being now. I'll open a spoken prayer followed by a time of silent meditation. O good and gracious Spirit, which we know as love, be with us in this time, in this hour, as we know love is with us every hour. May the Spirit of love settle softly in our hearts and minds and bring us at this close of a year a peace that might be rare, but it is always possible. We sit on the threshold of a new year. We enter this year with mingled pain and excitement, gratitude and concern. Our lives are a mix of so much. Spirit of life and spirit of love beyond all time, but we find in time. We stand in this moment in contemplation, never in completion. May we feel relief from that which ails us. May we look forward to this new year with courage and good cheer and an openness of our soul. For this time on earth, this time in life is precious to us. So let us now share in silence that we might reflect on our hearts and what is in our minds.
This is a reading by Clark Dewey Wells called We Cannot Enter the New Year. We cannot enter the new year clean and pure as the shiny babes pictured in illustrations of New Year's Eve. Neither we nor the world work that way. We enter a new year bearing the incrustations of our time-worn past. I know it's always a shock to parents when they see their new and perfect children for the first time, cut open by accident or injury, the shock of recognizing a permanent blemish, the beloved scarred forever. We collect over our lifetime scores of scars, and no amount of New Year celebrating or cosmetic surgery can conceal them. We get permanently bruised from falls out of our cribs, at play, in barns and fields and kitchens, from collisions and escapades, illnesses and war. We collect scars on our thumbs, fingers, hands, around the eyes, oh blessed eyebrows, so punished to save our sight. Vaccination scars and acne scars, appendectomy scars, a lifetime of lesions on the back, belly, our knees, necks, and ankles. The world's history is engraved with scars, from a plague of pox to a felon's branded cheek, to a sight I'll never forget in college after football practice, in the shower, an ex-commando who got hit in the chest by a flamethrower at Dieppe, sorry. Our carcasses get battered, even the luckiest ones, and these significations carry into every future history. But if our marked hides testify to our vulnerability and fragility, they also tell of our durability, the transfiguring into the toughest of tissues, this baklava of our skin. Amidst the brutalities of life, our scars witness to the persistent, countermanding mysteries of healing, reknitting, rejoining, recovering, as miraculous as any birth. We cannot enter the new year smooth as babes, but we do enter as survivors, often enriched, tougher, wiser, and seasoned by life's struggles, readier for the time to come. Our scars signal more than lamentation, not injury but renewal, not grief but reconciliation, not ruin but restoration, not the old year's accumulation of woe, but the new year's reality of healing, strength, and hope.
This congregation has sung this song before, led by Randy. It comes from Ruthie Foster. Joy is coming. Joy is coming. And in this new year, we create a space in our heart for this joy to come. So I invite you to enjoy Ruthie Foster's and let a little bit of her joy and her friends come into your life on this December 31st.
Joy comes back to me. I've been get low sometimes. Spirit get low, Lord. But I'm gonna rise again, 'cause I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready when joy comes back again. Woo! Oh, yes. Yeah, got to be, got to be, got to be, got to be, yeah. Oh, now, are you ready? Are you ready? Joy comes back again. Oh, ready when joy comes back to me. Oh, now I'm gonna rise again. Whoa, here comes my joy.
I love that end. It's like she hears it coming. She hears it. It's out there. I believe that there is more joy somewhere as well as love. All right, let's do some questions. There are more in here than we'll be able to get to, but that's okay. One of the neat things about this service is it lets me know what's on people's minds, and I use that as I'm thinking about what we're going to be having conversations about, what sermons will be about, and around what ideas we will gather. And I will try, occupational hazard, to not answer all of these in 20-minute increments, because that's a sermon, and I'd like to get to many of them. So I will try and be brief, as a minister can be while standing in a pulpit. Here's a question. I feel such sorrow over Ukraine and now Gaza, and genuine concern over the terrible state that Trump has caused. Here, it is hard not to be sad and defeated. What say you? Let's just start out with a softball, huh? Yeah. So this is this person's concern, and you may or may not share their concerns in this way, but I imagine many people do. And this person writes, it's hard not to feel sad and defeated. And I'd say it's okay to feel sad about all of that. I would say it's appropriate to feel sad about all the things in the world that are heavy, that are destructive, that are out of line with our deeper values. And it's hard not to feel defeated, sure, but I'd encourage us not to feel defeated. Sad, yes, because it's an honest emotion, but defeated means that the game is over, right? In our household, we watch some sports, and defeated means that Manchester United beat Chelsea, and the game is done. It has elapsed past 90 minutes, and the referee has called the whistle. And never can we believe that the forces of evil that act against love can defeat us. That's our theology as Universalists, and it's what we see in the world as the ways that we want to be. So it is my hope that even in our darkest moments of despair, we would never feel completely defeated. And we've got each other for that as well. If you start feeling defeated, despair, sure. If you start feeling defeated, reach out. Reach out, because I promise you, the game is not over yet. And we'll be there playing in the second half. Some people set goals or resolutions for the new year. What do you see as the benefits of this practice, and do you set goals or make a resolution? yeah, that practice is, I think we all have our own relationship to that practice. And I think that practice can be many things to different people. I think that practice can be very unhealthy if it's used to recount our failings and all that we are not, and then we have fallen short, and we only see it as this negative list of things in our life that we want to try and fix, because that's just gonna hurt. I mean, it's good to be honest with ourselves about where we've fallen short of our values and of our relationships, but just making a list of those things and saying, I'm gonna do better, Adam, I don't know about you, but I've not had good success with that methodology of resolutions. I have spent a lot of my life making classic resolutions. My guess is you share with me in the resolutions that I have made at some point in your life, and you know what I'm talking about, like be better to my body, exercise more, eat well, drink less, run more, do more in the community, like all these things that many of us just say, oh, I can do better at those. That'll make me the person that I want to be. Flossing has worked in my life. But it can also be positive if you use it as a chance to check in with yourself and just set, goal setting is as good as my behavioral psychologist friend would say, goals are good, they're your friend, but not if they're used to beat yourself up. So yeah, there's benefits. And a lot of people I know, they're just like, I don't do it. And that's also fine too, I think. How do you support someone who is grieving? There are many ways to do that. It would depend on the person, but I'd say the primary one is just making sure that person knows you're there, and not assuming, but just reaching out, and maybe not with the question of what can I do, because that makes that person then have to decide or do something, but just letting that person know you are there. And there are many ways to do that, through a card or a phone call, or through your presence, or through sending food, or whatever it might be, but just showing up. Just be there for that person who is grieving. How high is the sky? And why is it blue? And what's on the other side of the universe? I don't know. If you were here 2 weeks ago, we had a whole service on how that's just a fine answer. I don't know. But I'm curious. And I might go home and check it out. Some of those can be answered. How high is the sky? That's a ponderable. How many holes in a crumpet? All right, I've been going through my mind like, okay, who's English in our congregation? Who has tea? I don't know. What's that? That's true, and it's an assumption that to enjoy crumpets. But the odds go up if you're English, you know more about crumpets than if you are an American, I would say. I do not know, again, how many holes are in a crumpet. Does anyone know how many holes are in a crumpet? Is that a uniform thing? All of them. I really don't know. Maybe crumpets have like 26 holes in them. I kind of always figured they were each unique. Here's a multiple one, I think from one of our children. What do you like to do? What's your favorite holiday? My favorite holiday is... There are, we have an answer. There are 200, in a perfect crumpet, there are 250 to 300 holes. So I was way underestimating by 26. That was a mini crumpet. My favorite holiday, I always have a hard time with that question. I like holidays. I was thinking yesterday how I love the cyclical nature of our year and our holidays. I kind of like all the holidays. I do like Halloween a whole lot. And New Year's is fun. I do like Christmas time. See, I like a lot of holidays. I'm not sure I have a good answer. Do I like reading? Yes. Do you have a big or little hobby? Yeah, I really like being outdoors. That's one of my hobbies. And what made you want to work here? This made me want to work here. How can I help love grow within me and throughout the community and the world? How can we help love grow? There's this song. Anybody know this? It's an old classic. Love is something when you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something when you give it away, you end up having more. Do I find my spiritual path or do I create it? Ooh. I think it has to be a bit of both. There is this idea that we uncover our spiritual life, we uncover our souls, that we come into the world perfect, and that through our experiences and through our life and our history and through our joys and through our traumas, we become who we are, and a lot of that covers over who we are, and so our life is spent a good portion of like uncovering ourselves. I think a lot of us feel that, like there's something inside of us, some authentic self, some true self that we're trying to access. So I think in that way we find it inside ourselves. Sometimes we find it outside of ourselves as we learn more from other people or in relationship with other people and are exposed to new ideas, emotions, or ways of being or ways of body that we would not have known. And fundamentally, you do create it because we are creational beings. That's what we do every single day is we create. And so our spiritual lives is one of the main points of that creation, that becoming that we do as humans. So we certainly create it. That's a repeat of one of our earlier questions, it seems. Are we a Christian church? Buddhists attend, Jews attend, and Christians attend. This is a great question that would take a lot longer than 5 minutes to answer. The short answer is yes, kind of, but not really. We do have Buddhists, we have atheists, agnostics, spiritual, pagans, people who don't claim anything, and we have Christians in this church. We are a liberal religious faith that evolved from two forms of liberal Christianity, Universalism and Unitarianism. So we are, sometimes you consider it like we are the Protestants who kept protesting against the orthodoxy. And we kept drawing the circle wider as we asked questions, always being open to being a religious faith that wants to use the world around it to grow and be responsive to. So in doing that, we've put ourselves in this spot where we have come from what we would call a Christian faith, but we would not consider ourselves technically a Christian faith or tradition, but we would say we are a tradition that has Christians within us. I hear there's going to be some Sunday workshops starting on February 11th to explore the proposed Article 2 revision. Is that true? Yes! It sounds like a planted question. Perhaps someone wants you to know that there are workshops coming up on Article 2. Which is a chance to say, Article 2 revision is a fancy way of saying our congregation, amongst all of our diversity, gathers around these things called the 7 principles as value statements that we share across the entire country, the 7 principles. And part of being that growing religious faith is always looking to see, hey, where are we? How can we grow? What can we do better? We try not to calcify anything. And so even the 7 principles that have been with us since 1983, in their current form, we're considering revising them as a religious tradition to see if they still fit, to see if there's a better expression that might give us a common language amongst ourselves. And I guess if you want to find out more about that, you can come to the workshops in February. How do you show unconditional love to those whose morals do not align with UFCO? Those who show hate. I'd say some of us here at UFCO show hate too, so I'm not going to lump them and us in this. But unconditional love is hard, right? It's a practice. It's something that we don't always do well. It's a place that lives in our heart, and it's an aspiration of our religious tradition. It's what our Universalist ancestors would say God is. God is love. God is unconditional love. And how do you do it? Carefully. I think, carefully, because we also have to take care of ourselves. So just offering unconditional love willy-nilly, wildly into the world can end up hurting us as well. So, but holding a place in our heart for unconditional love, knowing that that is a possibility, it's a truth, maybe thinking about those places where we experience either receiving or giving unconditional love, and grounding in that feeling of just expansiveness, of knowing that there is more possibility, and knowing that to offer unconditional love to someone does not mean you have to, get to, or need to change them. And that can be a hard part. Why the long hair? Fair question. Follow-up. Trying to look like Jesus? We've got a long way to go, because as we know, Jesus was Aramaic and looked nothing like me. Trying to look like white Jesus, pick your role models well. I don't know. This is not the first iteration of long hair I've had in my life. And if you have grown your hair out, especially if you're a guy who has grown your hair out, there's something deep inside of you, this is my experience, from my experience, that when I want to grow it out all the time, and then I want to cut it all the time. But when it's not long, I want to grow it out, and I enjoy it. And like even right now, I'm thinking about cutting it. So I don't know, just something deep inside of me that wants to grow my hair out. I have done it before, and frankly, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. So this might be the last hurrah. You might be witnessing before there's not enough. In true Unitarian Universalist fashion, a statement, contrary to the actual project we're doing at all. Peace, love, rock and roll, classic rock. All right, man. All right. Some people say atheism is a religion. What do you think? Religious humanism is a religious form of atheism that puts atheism into a religious context. Religious humanism was kind of the default religion of Unitarians and mostly Universalists, almost all through the 19th century. They were people who had a certain belief in nature and art and humanity, and experienced that through a religious context. And that's still a heavy strain within our congregations. Just saying atheism is a religion, I'm going to hold short on that. That sounds like what Richard Dawkins might sarcastically say, because I think religion calls us towards truth and beauty and community and ritual, and I don't know that atheism on its own does all those things. So it does some of those things, perhaps. I don't know, depends on your theology. Does UUFCO need to hire an additional staff member to help with all the things and growth we are experiencing? Sure. Yeah, let's do that. February is our stewardship month, by the way. If you're curious on how we do that and how we'd like to do that and how we've actually had conversations about how to do that to help with our growth, that's how we do that, people. What struggles in faith do you still wrestle with? I think it's a lot of the classic ones. How can the world be so beautiful and so harsh? Though it does make sense that those two polarities exist. How do we come together? Just that constant question of being a religious community, how do we make good on it? How do we do the best we can do while also not being too hard on ourselves, right? This is a beautiful community. We practice that our love impacts lives here. We believe that, and we do that in many, many ways. And none of us wants to be a martyr to our faith or to our value. I don't know, maybe that's not true. Maybe you want to be a martyr, but I'm not going to claim that for anyone else. But I don't know, a lot of the classic ones, probably the same ones we all do. These questions around purpose, meaning, how high is the sky, what's on the other side of the universe, common questions like that. Where is love? It's actually a really complicated question. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a theologian who died in a Nazi prison cell and wrote a lot about his experience of God in that prison. The question being, where are the limitations of love? How far does it reach? I believe love is always available, like we said earlier in the service. I think it's always possible. Do we always have our personal access to it? Is it sometimes difficult to feel? Yeah, but I think it's always possible and can be always present. We might need help sometimes to feel that or experience it, and that's why community can be so important. That's why reaching out can be so important. That looks like a repeat. What's the best way for a new member to become involved with the congregation? Great question. You can talk to Jayla, you can talk to me, you can talk to these people, you can go to new member class, you can check out our kiosk. But I would say the main thing is find out what's going on here in this place, because there's a lot going on, and find something that interests you. Find something you love to do. Get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Try something new. Sing in the choir. Join a justice group. But just find something that gets you going. Right? Shayla quoted this last week. Find the Thurman quote. It does not matter the Thurman quote. Ask not what the world needs, but ask what brings you alive, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So what's the best way to become involved? Find something that makes you come alive. We're running out of time here. It's kind of the love thing. These are just thick questions, you all. How do we deal with our collective grief around climate crisis and war? I'm working on that. I think we all are. Denial is a coping mechanism. Truth and reality are also helpful, though they're hard and can bring grief into our lives. I think there's a place for reckoning in community with others, grieving, sharing, seeing that you're not alone in your grief. That's a powerful way to address grief. Understanding other people's grief is a way to understand that your grief is not their grief. We all grieve differently. And also allowing. I think allowing grief is always the thing to do when we encounter grief in our life, no matter how it comes, through collective trauma or in our own personal life. Doing the difficult work of somehow allowing it and being gentle, because grief can be hard and it moves in many different ways in our lives. What do you think of using our UU connections across the country to form a more vocal and active and organized protest for causes we believe in? Yes, let's do it. Who wants to do that? Sure, let's do it. And there are probably already, that's not planted. Side with Love is a Unitarian Universalist campaign. They do national work. They're always thinking about who we are as a collective Unitarian Universalist faith. Go to the UUA website. Check out Side with Love. Oh, that's almost the exact same question about grief and climate change. Will there ever be peace in the Middle East? Will we ever stop fighting in the name of religion? Again, I don't know, and I hope so. It's my own understanding that religion is meant to bring into the world what is good and true and beautiful, and it's supposed to help humanity. And I think any version of religion that becomes destructive rather than constructive is bad theology. It's harmful. It seems like any religion worth its salt should bring us in to the world, should be constructive, should bring things alive, should nurture them. And that's a complicated project when you get into what does nurture look like, what does love spread wide when you have conflicting cultures and hurt. I don't pretend to know the answer to that, and far smarter people than me have tried and failed. I do know that if there is hope, it's through hearing stories, understanding shared collective humanity and pain and promise, and feeling very far away from conflicts. It can be difficult, but I don't know. I read things and it's like there's never any hope. But also, again, I refuse to believe that. It's like the soccer game. There's no final defeat when it comes to war. If you are people who believe in peace and love, and we are people who believe in the possibility of peace and love. How can we'll end on this one. I actually had a little bit of a homily I was going to do, but I'll give you the highlights. This is more fun. We'll end on a biggie, yeah. How can a kind and just and loving God allow such injustice? And this really goes into your idea of what God means in your own personal theology. Theodicy is the branch of philosophical and theological study that deals with the problem of evil in the world, in a world that is both good and evil. How could a God that is all good, all powerful, and all knowing allow for evil in the world? It's one of the classic theological conundrums that the Christian classic early thinkers thought about, and we all still wrestle with today. How can it happen? Again, it depends on your idea of God. What I can say is it does happen. And we know that because we have joys, and we have sorrows, and we have gratitudes. So if we are hoping to not wipe away the reality that we know, this hard, harsh balance, this thing that seems to be hardwired into existence, things come alive, things die. Planets are born, and planets have a life cycle. A lot of nature, red in tooth and claw, is incredibly violent and harsh, and yet within that, there's beauty, there's human life, there's music, there's animals living their beautiful existence amongst trees, having their own amazing, like these trees right here all hanging out underground. And I guess I'm less concerned with wiping the problem away and interested in a religious life and a shared community life that does say our love impacts life, that says, yes, there are forces in natural and human world that are destructive, that are life-usurping, and doing whatever we can to rally against those, to bring more love into the world, the song we sang, giving away more love so that while our short time on earth is here, both personally, together, and frankly as a human species, because that's not lasting forever either. So as we're here, our experience is that we feel that love, affirmation, and construction, it seems to hold since we are alive, right? We have bodies and beings, and we can see in our own life that when we experience love, when we experience affirmation, when we experience togetherness, these things make us more healthy. They create life. And since we are alive, I think most of us could agree life is good. At least being alive is good. Sometimes life is hard. Being alive, on the whole, good. That being the case, let's be life affirmational. Love being the thing that can make that happen. Let's be a community that believes that love impacts life and bring that love as we can in our own individual ways into the world. Our board makes my point that I was going to make more complexly in this short homily. We all carry stories. We all carry a life experience. And our lives are shaped by these again and again and again and again. And we've got the scars to prove it, and we've got the smile wrinkles to prove it as well. We also know that our lives are forged not only in our experiences, but in our character and our values that we proclaim and that we bring into the world. And so at New Year's, it's a good time of year to invite not necessarily what it is we want to mechanically change in our life, that list of things that would make us better, but really ground in those values, in those actions that we can proclaim with our aspirational selves, that it's who we want to be in the world, that is important to us. And we want to dedicate to these values and to each other and to ourselves, dedicate to those things rather than making a laundry list of things that have not gone well. It's a much more powerful and affirmational thing to say, I believe that health is important. because it helps me care for my family, my community, and live more engaged life. That's a different thing than saying that I need to go exercise more. So proclaiming our values. We ask our questions at the time of the year. Sometimes they're in a box. Sometimes they're to ourselves. How is it going? How might it go in the future? And these are important questions. They recount and they wonder about our very life, our actions, and our relationships. For people who believe in the power and impact of love in the world, what could be more important than to ask ourselves those questions? But our lives are full of answers and they are full of questions, some painful, some are joyful. We know that about the past, but truly the future has questions and answers that we don't even conceive of yet. Questions we don't know and answers that we will live out. That brings us to the question of every moment. What do I do now? We ask ourselves this over and over and over and over, sometimes consciously, sometimes not. What do I do now? All day, every day. How we answer this question brings about our own life and our own shared world. So let us answer this question of possibility. What do I do now? What do we do now? No matter what our diverse answers are, let the through line and thread be one of love. May it be so. Because it is because it is New Year's Eve. It was Christmas, and you can tell because there's still candle wax over here, and there's some pom-pom balls over here. Chairs were slightly disordered when we came in. And there's Christmas trees, and a little bit of that spirit still in the air. But since it's December 31st, let us close by doing the New Year's thing.
Please rise. Let's sing one last song together. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and the days of old lang syne? And surely you will buy your cup, and surely I'll buy mine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. And surely you will buy your cup, and surely I'll buy mine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll drink a cup of kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne.
This time of year of promises to ourselves and promises to each other, this congregation has a promise that we make to each other week after week, day after day. It's the covenant that we share. Will you please join me in saying the covenant of this fellowship? Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, the truth and love, and to help one another. Glory! Glory to the promise of the day. Its grayness not forbidding, but gentle and peace-giving. Glory to the human heart and the new hope, the possibilities, the feeling that the world can be remade, rebuilt with a vision of beauty and with the creativeness of universal love. I believe in that possibility. May we go into this new year believing it together and living it out.